If you're just joining us, guys, we are live with Mana, who is helping me to co-cast his own games. This is the Archangel Files, in the tradition of the old, what were they, Team Liquid? No, not Team Liquid Files. Was it Liquid Files? Whatever it was. Where we're doing a long-form interview with Mana, just chatting with him about StarCraft and life and getting to know him a little bit better while he plays a couple games. I'm normally joined by a co-caster, Rushy, who is seen here in this still image, conducting some epic work of music. I assume it's Wagner, based on the hair. But we'll hopefully be joined by Rushy very soon. He's casting another event. Until then, it's just myself and Mana working our way through these games. But the games that are being played right now are, of course, played by you guys, the viewers in the chat. If y'all want to tune in and try and face Mana, you've got a chance to do it. Just get on the EU server and /join Archangel Files. Looks like we only have like one person on here, so your odds are good. If you want to hop on and play Team Liquid's Mana.
Make sure the Archangel Files is together. There's no space in between.
Correct. Thank you. Good reminder. But yeah, right now there's only one competitor, unless Laser is tuned in and wants to compete, which now that would be fun. But we'll go ahead and ask one more question here as you guys are filing into the chat channel. Let me see here. Ooh, this is a good one. In which WCS did Mana finish second place? In which WCS did Mana win second place? That's a big one. Mana, do you know the answer to that one?
There are at least two correct answers.
There are at least two correct answers? Ooh. Well, give us one of the two correct answers, and we'll get in here.
Season 3 Premier League WCS 2015.
Ooh, smart. And the other one?
WCS Austin 2018.
Attaboy. Well, we got a winner here. Rock and roll. Ooh, let's get that taken care of. And I'll just pick a map. Rock and roll. Well, we've got a winner. Remember, guys, if you want to play in the next series against Mana, you're more than welcome. Just join Archangel Files on the EU server. All right. Poor guy. Take your time. There's no hurry on any of this.
He got the answer right eventually.
He got there. What time is it there for you, Mana?
It's 7 p.m. right now.
7 p.m. All right, that's not too bad. I'm also really bad and really nervous. All right, he's fine. He's fine. He's going to be great. This is the cutest thing I've ever seen. You're reading chat right now? Yeah. Well, we'll take a break for our games here and just talk to Mana a little bit more then. Mana with the life advice. Wash your hands. Attaboy. Being responsible. I love it. Well, I got some questions from... I'll skip down. I'll leave some of Rushy's questions available for him here. And I'll skip down. Woodhead, yeah, the OSC games going on right now are Mana's games from replay in that OSC tournament on Wardy's channel. So they've already been done. So don't spoil us, Mana, on how you did. You're up in the winners bracket, I think, of the OSC tournament.
Yes.
That's a stacked tournament, man. I was reading the invite list, yes, because I did the losers bracket broadcast, and then I was like, oh, the winners batch. Oh, dang, I'm not going to get to cast in those because they looked incredible. They looked so good.
Yeah, the winner bracket is actually quite stacked. It looks like one of the championship tournaments. It's just a mid-season playoff.
It's crazy, man, for $1,500. But yeah, it'd be awesome. Anyway, I had a couple questions for you. You talked a little bit about growing up as like your father was a computer guy, and your whole family. You've got you said 2 brothers, so 3 of you total.
Yes.
Nice. You mentioned you were a decent student. Did you finish? You finished. I don't even know how school works in Poland. You finished whatever the Polish equivalent of like high school was.
High school, yes.
Okay, but you were such a pro gamer that you were like, all right, screw college. I'm going to go straight to the pro gaming world.
Yeah, I finished the exams with like, it was like good grades. I never was the top student. I always was like because I wasn't really studying much. I didn't have time for that. So pretty much every exam that I did was based on my just brain memory, from what I remember from the lessons.
Sure.
I very, very rarely studied for any kind of exam. Even for the finals, I just winged it and then finished all of that. I was always paying attention in class because then I didn't have to study at home pretty much.
Sure.
So I think it was a very it felt way easier to do than it actually is, I think, because some of my friends were like, oh my god, I'm studying for 2 weeks already and then I don't know anything. And like, just pay attention in class.
I've always heard that's the best thing. If you pay attention during the lesson, you'll it's like 1 hour of lesson is worth like 5 hours of study at home, because it's just so much more. Did you have a strongest subject or a weakest subject, or was it all just sort of all the same?
I was not a big fan of biology. Also, my teacher of biology was like the vice principal, and she was kind of strict, so it wasn't a very enjoyable lesson. Maybe
okay.
That's why. And my strong subject would be mathematics. I had a wonderful teacher, actually. He passed away, actually, like a couple of years ago. But I will always remember him as a great teacher. He taught me not only about like, not me, but like the students, not only about mathematics, but just life overall. And he was a great person. Wait, what did this guy? I'm not gonna win, so I'm gonna spend this time to cement my personality in this game. Hi, Mana. Must be fan of yours. All right.
What a bro. I like Chad is saying hates biology, plays the robot race. Checks out. Makes sense. Well, let's switch topics a little bit. Tell me about the music you listen to. When you're laddering, do you listen to music? Do you listen to different music when you ladder? Like, do you have a playlist of like rock and roll music you go for, or what do you usually like to chill out to?
I really like the music that I grew up with, which is the 90s.
Oh yeah.
All the pretty much like the disco songs, really. Rock and roll as well. Pretty much a little bit of everything.
Stop. The 90s were disco in Poland?
Yeah.
What?
No?
You realize disco happened in the 1970s in America, right?
I don't know. I mean, we are late, It's Poland, come on. Wait, what the hell is this?
You didn't scout his proxies, champ. You're getting
he said he's bronze.
Yeah, you're getting triple proxy racked by a bronze player.
Oh my god. You talked me into it.
Man, that's what it was. It was one of those, like when a player's like, good luck, have fun, hope you're doing well, like have a good day, and you're like, oh, this motherfucker's cheesing me, I know it.
Oh my god.
Wait
a second.
This is intense. I love this. 4 probes already down. Man, it's losing his touch. It'll be that big TL.net post later. This is fantastic.
Alright, I'm good now.
So normally what's your reaction to a triple proxy racks? Or a double proxy racks? Because triple isn't a thing.
Definitely because the stalkers and battery is the most important part. If you're paying enough attention, like I was not this game, you can get a Stargate and be completely fine with this, but because I wasn't paying attention, I didn't get that. Shield battery is the most crucial thing.
And where do you put your shield battery, or does it depend on how the rush is coming?
It depends on the map. If you get it in the middle line, then the Reapers cannot do much. But he has so many now. This is scary.
Yeah, I think you're in a little bit of trouble here. I'm just trying to psych you out now. You're still going Stargate follow-up though, because obviously he's put a lot of pressure on this, right? So, I think Team Liquid's Mana is about to lose to a bronze player with a triple proxy racks. Somebody alert Aligulac, because this is gonna hurt your MMR, buddy.
Yeah. Wait, it's not over. It's not over till I say it's over.
That's right. You still got 3 stalkers and a shield battery. Oh, it's out of energy. Oh shit, this is great. Well, so we talked a little about music. I feel like I got to keep your brain spinning now, just to keep you handicapped a little bit.
Leave me alone.
So you're an old man like me now. You're 26 years old. Do you still go out? Do you still party a lot, or are you more like an indoor cat now? If you do go out, what's a good night out of the house for you?
I was always an indoor cat. I never liked going out too much. Like I wouldn't mind spending some time with friends, but not very often, to be honest. I would always prefer to spend my time like productively, doing something like practicing and pretty much practicing. So it stays like that this time as well, especially in the difficult timeline that we are in with the coronavirus.
I was gonna say, are you one of the people that's very happy? You're like, I have to stay inside for hours and hours. Yes.
No, I mean, obviously I'm not happy with this because it's tragic, but the life didn't change that much for me when
Okay.
it comes to staying indoor too much.
Finally got you. Good scout out, though.
See, easy defense, man.
Yeah,
That
you
was
did
not
it.
even close.
You did it. I was worried for you there for a minute. Thought we'd have to maybe cut off the stream prematurely before you lost the game and just be like, oh, my internet cut out, everybody. Mana,
Yeah,
Mana won.
just
It's
a
okay.
disconnect.
It's okay. Well, one question we asked Kelliger when he was on that I thought was a really interesting one. So let's say tomorrow, Bobby Kotick comes out and says, hey, guys, Activision Blizzard is shutting down StarCraft 2. The servers turn off tomorrow. We're gonna cut off access to the game. Competitive play is suspended forever. StarCraft is over. It's dead officially. Bobby Kotick goes out and says, dead game. All the trolls on the internet were correct. What are you going to do with your life?
Well, it's kind of tough to have a plan immediately when it goes down like in one day. I would have
sure.
to figure something out.
Oh, sure.
I would probably just stream games. Probably do something competitive myself. Just something different than StarCraft. Probably stay in RTS.
Sure.
Wait for StarCraft 3, maybe. Yeah,
Age of Empires 4 is coming out. You get into that.
Oh yeah. It is actually coming out. Yeah. I would probably just find something competitive, to be honest. I would probably stay in gaming. Definitely stream. Yeah, stay in esports, stay in gaming for sure. It's just I have so much experience in this that it would be stupid to abandon.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you always been a competitive player? Like I always tell people, like I'm a little competitive in StarCraft, but in the rest of my life, I'm like, if I'm golfing, I'm just, I'm just here to have fun. But have you always been a competitive, like gotta win, gotta be better than everybody else kind of player, or is it more of a StarCraft thing for you?
It started with my brothers, right? Like I want to be better than my brother.
Oh right,
And
you're the youngest, right?
Yes, I am the youngest. So
Okay.
Yeah, because I was always competing with my brothers, then I always wanted to be better than them, and it just turned me into a very, very competitive person. So it's like that for me in every aspect of my life.
Is there another game that you're very competitive in? Like when your brothers and you get together, do you guys all play something and just try and beat each other really badly?
We actually play we play
Oh,
League
yeah?
of Legends together now. So
That makes sense.
with all three of us, me with my girlfriend and my oldest brother with his wife, we all play together as a team of 5. So
Oh, perfect. You got your own 5.
It's a cool, it's a cool family time.
This is your brother who works for Riot.
Yes.
And he's allowed to play League of Legends. I always thought they made if you played it Riot, they'd like put you on your own server, so it wouldn't be unfair.
No. I mean, he's not. He works for Riot as a like he takes care of all the influencers as a manager for them.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to Riot.
What a cool gig. Is your third brother also involved in games and video gaming, or does he do
No.
have a normal job?
No, he lives in Norway actually.
Oh, cool.
And he's actually a DJ. He creates music.
What?
But he works at a golf. What do you call it? Golf course, like a golf field.
Yeah.
He's like a top guy as a greenkeeper, like the chief of greenkeeper.
That's so cool.
And yeah, he creates his own music. You can actually find him at YouTube and Spotify. He is under alias of Thomas Vent with V Vent. So a little bit of advertising for my brother.
Yeah, shout out. That's definitely cool, man. I like this guy was throwing down Reaper grenades to try and drive your Void Rays away.
Yeah, he almost wins versus me with Proxy Roxas. Now he's throwing grenades on my Void Rays. He's not bronze, man. He's lying.
Yep, I think you've been bamboozled, my friend. You're going mass Void Ray just to counter the bronze play.
Yeah, I mean it's harder to it's harder to counter the air unit because I can outmaneuver him because of the map Zen, right? So there's a lot of airspace, so I can just go here from one side, pick up the Cyclone, get the Cyclone, run away.
Nice. On a scale from 1 to 10, how happy are you that Zen is out of the map pool?
To be honest, I'm not that happy because I think they fixed Zen quite a bit in this season. In the previous season, it was a terrible map because you couldn't wall in with like one pylon, but they fixed it a bit that you can wall in with one pylon in the low ground, and it became a much more playable map. It's not ideal, it's a little bit tricky, but I don't think it's a terrible map anymore.
And do you hate the Reaper jump up spot into the main? Or is it fine?
It is annoying. It's annoying, but yeah, I mean, it's something that you need to take into account. You can wall it off with 2 big buildings, but obviously it does. It's dangerous to put your buildings there for the later stage of the game.
Right, right. Well, we talked a bit about the map pool, and you've said a couple times now that you're pretty happy with the map pool is pretty large, and maybe that doesn't suit your playstyle, but it's a decent map pool, and you're excited about the next map pool as well. How do you feel about balance in general? This is the question we asked Kelliger earlier, because I always feel, I'll tell you my opinion as a viewer and caster, I always feel like StarCraft is in a pretty decent spot balance-wise right now. Do you feel like StarCraft balance is like the healthiest it's ever been? Or do you think there was another time in StarCraft's history where maybe things were a little bit more even, and right now we're still at an odd place?
It's hard to remember, you know, after being in the game for 10 years.
Sure.
There have been so many patches, so many metas, so many map pools. But I think when it comes to pure balance, excluding map pools, I think balance is pretty fine right now. It might be in the best position that it's ever been, but I think maps are really making a difference right now, the most that it's ever been before, because I think the playstyles and like the way that units interact have been figured out in such a way that the maps just really help you in a how should I say, like, to exploit the advantages of the races.
Okay.
So I think the map pools are more important now than ever. So that's why we see like Terrans having so much success lately, because the map pool is very good for Terrans. They're very big. There's a lot of space, a lot of chokes. It's just good for Terrans. It's not necessarily the balance that is great for Terrans, because there hasn't been so much change in the terms of balance patches. So the maps are really important, and people really overlook that.
Yeah, we definitely, I mean, of course, if you go on the forums, it's nonsense, but even if you're talking to somebody who's reasonable and level-headed, a lot of times they'll say, oh, balance feels wrong, balance feels off, and very rarely is the answer or the response, the map pool is really important for a lot of that. That's a good observation. So this is another rapid-fire question we had, but I'm curious about your take on it. Would you rather see, like StarCraft 2, enter a sort of Brood War state where at some point they say, okay, we're done with balance patches, we're never going to patch the game again, we're happy with where things are, we're done? Or would you prefer to see StarCraft staying the way it is, where every couple months they pop out and say, all right, well, here's what we've been seeing, here's what we're thinking about changing, we're gonna make some balance changes?
It depends on what kind of state we leave the game at, right? If
Sure.
the game is like completely broken, let's say in the Broodlord Infestor era, like in Wings of Liberty, then obviously I want the patches. But I think, let's say the balance is fine, let's say as is right now, I would rather not have any patches whatsoever than have too many, because it's very easy to screw up, I think, balance with just too many changes at once. And I think if we can just once again go back to the map pools and adjust the maps to the balance, then it would be fine. Obviously, if things are bad, as sometimes, you know, it takes time to figure something out, I think it's all right to have a balance. But if I have to choose, I would prefer not having balance changes rather than having too many.
Yeah, that's a really good response. Really good response. Interesting. I'm trying to find some more questions here from Rushy's thing before he shows up, and just steal a couple more from him. Oh, this is a good one from Rushy. He always has really good questions. Do you have also? You're just playing with your food at this point, man. Come on, man.
Yes.
You just try and max out.
I'm waiting for Blink. Waiting for Blink.
You blink up into the main and then kick his ass.
Just kill him.
Nice.
Just kill him.
Nice. Jeez, this is just mean. But he's trying to expand, so bless his heart. He'll get out there. Anyway, a good question from Rushy here. Do you have a person in your life, or a coach, a mentor, a teammate, somebody who's made like a really big impact in your StarCraft life? Hold on. I just want this to happen. Hang on just a minute. Oh, this poor guy. This is... What is it? 16 hallucinated colossi against a planetary fortress in the main. He's got drilling claws on the way, but something tells me it's not going to be very useful because he doesn't have any widow mines down right now. Double armory, no upgrades. Oh, bless his heart. All right, Chesscraft, GG out of here. He's not actually bronze. He's silver. Oh, platinum. All right. Well, heck, he tried.
GG.
Mana grabs game 1. Nicely done. Anyway, to finish up that thought, as we're getting into the next game, is there somebody in your StarCraft life, a coach, a teacher, a mentor, a teammate, somebody that's really had like a huge impact on you as a player and you as a person?
I don't think there's a single person. Like when it comes to purely for StarCraft.
Okay.
I think outside of StarCraft, it would be my father, who always, like in his own way, sometimes would be like annoying or I would disagree with something, but most of the time he was right, and he taught me a lot of the things to just become a better person.
Okay.
But yeah, when it comes to StarCraft, I don't think I have a single person that stands out immediately. Like, yeah, this thanks to this guy, I became so good, or I became more popular, or I figured out a new way. I think that only person would be myself. I was always a self-learner rather than trying to seek help from the others.
Plus, you've been on the teams, like in a team atmosphere for so long. Maybe you've just had a lot of good people around you for a long time.
Oh, of course. I had a lot of people who, sometimes would help or reach out to me whenever I had an issue. But there hasn't been like a breakthrough moment that I was like, yeah, this is the moment, that I will remember when you're asking me this question.
Okay. That's so nice, man. That's so nice. By the way, chat, I've been reading the entire chat. I promise I've been keeping up with you guys, but obviously interviewing a guest, I gotta put Mana front and center, so I've been keeping an eye on what you guys are saying. I'm trying to...
Too, man.
What was that?
I am Twitch chat too.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you're keeping an eye as well. Well, usually around this time in the interview, we usually, Bro, it's fine. Well, this is usually the time where we'll open up questions to Twitch chat. Chat, is there anything that you have been just dying to ask Team Liquid's Mana? Is there anything you really want to know? Anything that you want us to make sure we cover before the end of the interview here with Mana? We still got a while left. I think about a hour left on the interview, give or take. But if you've got anything I've missed, now's an opportunity for you to go ahead and pop in. Orty is asking the most important question of all. Mana, will you marry Orty?
My heart is already taken. I'm sorry.
Oh no! Are you engaged or dating or married?
Not yet engaged.
Okay, but you have a long-term partner?
Yeah, 5 years. It's gonna be 6 years in a month.
6 years in a month? Oh, congratulations, man! God, I can't make a relationship last 6 weeks.
Well,
Goodness gracious!
There might be something wrong with you, man.
That's definitely true. That's definitely true.
I mean, it's not easy, right? This world is fast, and yeah, it's hard to find the right person. So I'm happy that I found her.
That's very sweet. Let's see. A good one for my answer to no one. Do you have a favorite teammate, Mana?
Favorite teammate?
Yes.
Well, that's a difficult one to answer, no?
It's
I don't
very
want to play
difficult.
on someone feeling.
Yes, of course. I won't put you on the spot. That's all right.
No, I don't think I have a favorite teammate. I like all people that are currently in Team Liquid, or I have had in the past in like Mospros or other teams. I don't favor anybody, to be honest.
I'm going through my head, and like I don't know all the guys obviously as well as you do, but I can't think of any Team Liquid player where I'm just like, that guy's an asshole. Like, what a jerk. Team Liquid always picks up such good folks. Let's see. A really interesting question from Varden here. If you had the power to go back to when Heart of the Swarm was ending and Legacy of the Void was released, are there any units that were introduced in Legacy of the Void that you would be like, no, don't release that unit, keep it out of the game?
Ooh, I don't even... What was added in Legacy of the Void? I don't even remember.
I'm trying to think as well. Let me pull it up here. Legacy of the Void, new units. Liberator. Cyclone.
Okay. Disruptor, right? I think.
Yeah, I'm going through. Ravager, Lurker. Oh my gosh, so many new units. Holy crap. Adept, Disruptor, and I think that's it.
I think from the units that are in Legacy of the Void, none of them is like, no, don't have it. I think it's fine to tweak them. Like Ravager Bile cooldown could be a little bit longer because it's
Yeah.
very fast. I think like 8 seconds or something like
It's
that.
so
I think
quick,
it's very
yeah.
fast. Yeah, and Disruptors might be the most controversial unit from Legacy of the Void because it creates these unpleasant moments for some players where you can lose a game in an instant if you're not watching. Somewhat similar to Widow Mines as well, you know, but the Disruptors on a slightly bigger scale, and it's also much more expensive. But I think
Sure.
Legacy of the Void has introduced us to a much healthier state of StarCraft and the units overall as well. I think it's just a good expansion. I wouldn't really change that much when it comes to the units that have been added in.
Good. Yeah, I feel like that's fair. Ooh. Did you see that Widow Mine and just chose to fly into it? Are you just being nice to him?
I anticipated there would be a Widow Mine, but I did not see the line because usually sometimes you can react. Like I was being careful with my Oracle.
Right.
I'm like, this is too good to be true, so I flew in. I'm like, yep, this is too good to be true.
I feel like it's always difficult when you're not playing a pro player, like somebody that's, maybe a little bit behind, because their strategies seem very unorthodox, don't they?
Oh yes, absolutely. You cannot read at all. Like sometimes playing against weaker players is much more difficult than playing against the stronger players. Because when you know someone is stronger than you, or just a strong opponent overall, it's just what they do will make sense. So like, okay, if this guy doesn't have an expansion at this time, at this moment, there's something else going on. But if you're playing against a weaker player and you're like, this guy is just bad, But then it turns out it's just a proxy,
Yeah, he's got a triple proxy racks outside your natural that you didn't scout earlier.
Exactly this.
Ooh, Grumpy as usual has a good one from the chat. Who is your nemesis, and is there a player right now that you're most afraid of, like that people might not expect?
Most afraid of. I think. Well, Sarah would be the obvious choice, right? He's the best and like almost impossible to win. I think in Europe the most afraid of would be Showtime, to be honest, excluding Sarah. He's always a player that most of the time, well, not most of the time, but oftentimes I will even have like a Blue Lord advantage or be in a great position because I killed so many workers, but he will eventually win versus me. I think he's kind of my nemesis right now in Europe, and even though especially it hurts because it's a mirror matchup, right? So there's no imbalance to be blaming.
To blame it on, right?
Yeah. So I think Showtime would be my nemesis right now, and I respect him a lot as a player because he doesn't go for like, oh, you got unlucky, but he genuinely just outplays me most of the time.
Yeah, he's. I mean, his nickname is very apt. I always feel like all of his games, he's just seems like he'll outlast you no matter what, right?
Yes, yeah, and it's just I'm so envy sometimes of the way.
Very close there.
Yeah, I'm just envy of the way that he plays. That I wish I could do that sometimes, but sometimes I am happy with my style and the way that I play the game because sometimes I will find a way to win a game when it's already over.
That's a really good answer. Showtime. Yeah, he's been on a tear last couple of weeks. Last couple months even. Jeez. Let's see. We got a couple questions from chat that we've already answered. Are you a dog or cat person? We know the answer. What's the story behind your name? We know the answer. If you guys missed the interview earlier, we've been doing this for about an hour now. I'll put this up on YouTube later, so you can go back and watch the beginning of the series, anything you missed, and that'll hopefully answer some of these questions that maybe you haven't had a chance to hear earlier. But Alessandra with a good one as well. Mana, is there something you wish more people knew about you?
That I try really hard,
You think people are like that? Mana, he's so lazy. He just
no. I mean, I think people would. I would really like people to appreciate how difficult it is to be a pro gamer and how to play on a high level all the time. And a lot of the times when something bad happens, or I have a bad game, or something unlucky, or just my opponent outplays me, but they don't understand the outplay. And people on the chat or in the comments are like, "Oh my God, Mana is so bad. Please retire already." Sometimes it just brings I tear up a bit when I hear that because I try really hard and I don't take the games lightly. So I think I hope people would be just more understanding. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say.
That's a really good point. Yeah, that's something I see a lot in my chat. I have to, or in other people's chats, and very, very occasionally on my chat, where people are like, oh, he just sucks today. What a loser. And I'm like, come on, these guys are working their asses off every day. How many hours would you guess you put into StarCraft on an average on a daily basis?
Only game time or studying VODs and stuff like that as well?
Ooh, interesting. If you don't mind sharing, what's the breakdown? Like between the two?
I would say, well, watching streams is a very big part of that. Like I do watch a lot of the streams and well, obviously the tournaments as well. So I would say game time would be at the very least 4 hours. Sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 3. But I would say a good average would be the 6 hours, and then including the time spent in front of a computer watching the VODs or streams, it's like additional 3 to 4 hours. So it's like a day job, you know. I do it pretty much all day, every day for like 8 hours, and obviously from time to time I'll take a break to I don't know, grab a meal or play another game from time to time. But yeah, it's the usual.
That's the quote from the interview. Mana, sometimes I stop to eat. Otherwise, it's StarCraft all the time.
No pee.
That's right. You got a bucket under your desk. Do you have somebody asked earlier that I missed? I thought was a good one. Do you have? Is there any play that you remember specifically, either from a tournament or just in general? Is there anything that you've done that you just felt like that you won, like a play that you won a game with that you felt dirty about afterwards? Where you're like, oh, I shouldn't have won that game that way, but I did, and it felt awful.
I'm sure it happened. I'm sure it happened, but it's very hard to remember this kind of stuff because it feels like there's no filthy play. You know, it's just StarCraft.
I was gonna say, are you one of those players who feel like a win is a win, and no matter what happens, if you get the win, then you won the game and it doesn't matter?
Yeah. I think that's the best approach because people are like, oh my god, you're only cheesing. Oh my god, you're only Hellenic. I mean, it's just part of StarCraft, you know.
Oh yeah. I feel like I've seen best of 3s or best of 5s can be really brutal. If like one player cheeses 3, 4, 5 games in a row and just keeps winning, and the chat will go, oh, you know, what a loser. Come on, man. What are you talking about? If he keeps winning, man, why would you not?
Yeah, why would you not win, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, sometimes it's for the audience. Like, I can understand this for like show matches purposes. Like, hey, I paid you, let's say, $100 for a show match, and you pro brushed me 5 times in a row.
Sure.
That's not very good sportsmanship. But in a tournament and the environment, there's nothing wrong with that. The play, I think a lot of the force field on the ramp back in the like Wings of Liberty or Artemis Worm era, I think that would have to be one of those times. Or maybe DT Rush when you're down and out, but turns out the guy doesn't have a detection. Maybe it would be one of those plays.
Oh yeah, those are always classics.
The classics.
Oh man,
I am a classic guy.
So do you have somebody else asked? Googly Goink, best name in the world. Asked, do you have regardless of balance, is there a composition that you always feel really at home playing? Do you have like a favorite? You're like, man, Blink Stalkers with the Warp Prism, can't win. I can't lose with that. It feels great. Or like Phoenix Colossi, always good. Is there an army composition that you really, really love?
Stalker Disruptor, yeah, because it's very mobile and it has deadly potential. So because I know with the Stalkers, as you know, it's not the strongest unit in a direct fight, but if you cut your unit, get your opponent out of position, you can find some critical damage. With the Disruptor, it's very similar as well. Just misdirection in one place, shoot a Disruptor ball, and magic can happen with that. So yeah, that's the composition I feel comfortable with.
I feel like that's a comp that rewards you for being a really like paying attention to your mini map and being a really aware kind of player. Because if you can catch your opponent off guard, then it's a big win. Can swing things pretty easily for you.
Yeah, it can definitely be quite deadly in just a few moments. But it's also very fragile because if your opponent is actually paying attention at all times, it's very hard to deal the damage when you're playing against the best in the world. That's why it's not very, very popular composition to play in pro games, right?
Sure. Let's see. Oh, Frank Peanuts with another good one. Is there a player right now, another player that you think is underrated? Like their Aligulac ranking might not be that high, but you think they're still a very scary opponent?
Soul, maybe? From
Soul?
He's a very, very scary Terran player. I think he's very good, but he gets very nervous in tournaments. Oh, I don't know if it's nerves, but his tournament results are definitely underperforming because he's a great player, and I do have tough games versus him most of the time, and he can outplay me quite hard. I think he's underrated by the community, maybe.
Yeah, I think I know his Oligulac ranking's very high, but yeah, I think he's not like a very famous, popular player. Like not many people.
Yeah, he's not very famous. Actually, yeah, Oligulac is actually he's even probably higher than me.
I think
because he had some good tournament results, but you know, in like the big tournaments like WCSs and so on, he hasn't been performing that well.
Sure. Good answer. Good answer. Yeah, Soul's a really solid answer. Oh, a good one from Asgardian here. Do you what do you do specifically? Because if you're gaming for 4 hours a day and then watching replays and stuff, what do you do to avoid repetitive strain injuries? Do you have a stretching routine? How do you make sure that you keep your wrist and arms healthy?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I don't know how to explain that in English, you know, but just stretching your arms, stretching your wrists. I don't have unnecessary like a routine for that, but I just try to make sure to not sit in one place for a long period. Obviously, it's very hard when you're streaming because
Sure.
I usually it's like game after game after game. But like in tournament environments, I'll just every day without streaming just try to stand up, go for a walk, get a glass of water or something. Try to keep yourself refreshed. Yes, stretching is just the most important part because you try to sit in place for a long time, and if you don't stretch, you will feel pain.
Smart. Yeah, it's so important to take breaks and stuff. So many of us just get, I think, deep into our games.
Yeah, I mean it's easy to forget about that, and I think I don't know if it's the English word that I'm looking for, like slouching. You know, like
Oh yeah, slouching.
Slouching. Okay, yeah. So it's very important to have like a good posture. So if you're slouching or you're sitting on your leg while playing, it's no good. Just sit straight and you'll have less pain.
Immediately, everyone who was watching the stream just went, "Oh shit!" and like sat up in a chair, and uncrossed their legs. Nice. Well, it looks like you've got this in the bag. Once you've got Blink, there's not much this guy's gonna be able to do about it.
He has Drilling Close this time.
Yeah.
And he has Mines.
He's got some ghosts as well, trying to get you with the EMPs here.
Stalker's too strong.
But yeah, I think you're in good shape here. Now this is interesting and something that I don't know the math on Protoss upgrades as well as I should. Why do Protoss players always go +3 attack before anything else? I mean, not all the time, but it's very rare to see Protoss players going for like Terran players go +1/+1, or Zergs will go for like +1 armor, +1 melee. Why do Protoss players always go for attack, and then start thinking about armor and shields after that? Generally.
Most of the time, it's because of the strength of the units. They are all attacking units. They already have pretty big survivability. So if you're going for the attack, I'm pretty just want to maximize the damage you already have. You want to have the armor for the zealots, but attack is all very good for the ranged units like the stalkers or the colossi or the immortals. They they benefit a lot from the upgrades. Like immortals get +5 attack damage from each attack upgrade, so it's 15 more damage if you get +3 and +10 only if you get +2. So it's just more damage. If you have more damage, you kill stuff faster.
That's a very Protoss answer, isn't it?
It's very easy, right, to say.
That's smart. All right, well, guys, we've got time for, I think, one more series. Let me check here. Hang on just a minute. We may have a little bit of time to get Rushy in here for the last series of the day. Oh, look at that. Rushy is in. Hopefully he'll join the call here in just a minute, and I'm sure... Hang on, let me check and see if we can get Rushy in here. I'm sure as soon as he joins our Discord call, it's gonna mess up all my overlays. So, Mana, your face may disappear for a minute. It's not because I don't like you. It's just because I'm bad at streaming. So we'll try and get that fixed as soon as we can. We had the same problem with Kellisher when a third person joined the channel. But let me check and see how long Rushy's gonna be. But now is the chance for you guys in the chat to potentially play a series against Team Liquid's Mana. If you're interested in playing against Mana, all you've got to do is hop on the EU server and /join Archangel Files, which I can type into the chat here. Let me get that added in here. Just /join Archangel Files.
It's your last shot.
Yeah, I think so. We got probably time for one more series before the end of the interview, and then we'll head out. So, all right, let's get one question ready to roll. Ooh, this is a good one. Let me confirm the answer with Mana here really quickly. Oh no, we got the answer. Here we go. What is Mana's favorite matchup? All right. That's a very difficult one. I've got an answer here that apparently our production team says is the correct answer. But if you know the answer, just go ahead and throw it into the Archangel files.
I mean, you can just,
just spam all the different combinations.
Yeah. Try the free combinations, see who's free.
Somebody will get it. Well, a lot of PvPs going down in the chat. That's not the answer I've got. Varden says, I don't think
either. That's the correct answer.
Is it really? We could do a different question then.
When the production asked me to do that, I said I don't actually have a favorite matchup, but historically it's been PvT, so let's keep it at PvT.
All right, well, Visual Studio is our boy. Okay. Looks like we won't have Rushy for game 1. We might grab you for game number 2.
Just for the saying goodbyes, then.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he'll have like 30 seconds to get, and you'll cannon rush that game, so he'll just end things real quick. All right, we'll get Rushy in here for game number 2. But game 1, I don't know. Why don't you pick a map, man? What do you want to play on?
Let's get Purity in Industry.
Oh,
we haven't
yeah.
seen this shit map yet.
Great choice. Let's see this one more time before we kick it out to the curb. I love it. And here we go. Mana's ready to roll. Let's see if our opponent is ready to go. Visual Studio. And then we'll get into P and I. There we go.
Undefeated.
Beautiful.
Let's skip it that way.